Filmmaking in 2026 isn't about waiting for the big break. It's about building your own lane. So when I started, everyone told me I had to pick one position, whether that be DP, editor, or director, sometimes even PA. I wasn't really getting hired, so I had to do everything that was available. That flexibility ended up being the reason I stayed working when others stopped. You don't need permission, you just need a plan. What's going on, world? I'm Eric D. Seals, and today we're breaking down what it really takes to build a filmmaking career in 2026. This isn't just theory, this is not clickbait, but what's actually working right now for people who are out there doing it every day. We'll cover how the industry has changed, how to find your lane, building work that stands out, connecting with the right people, and making money while staying creative. If you're already shooting professionally and you're ready to level up, this one is for you. The new filmmaking landscape. Let's be honest, the industry we started in does not exist anymore. But that's not something to fear. Actually, it's an opportunity. At the beginning of my career, the term hybrid filmmaker wasn't really a thing. Honestly, it was just you could do multiple positions. So I started out as an editor, and then I started getting behind the camera. I did some technical directing at the time. I was making myself available for whatever the job was at the time. The people who I was working with at that time were older, and from the generation in filmmaking and broadcast television, you didn't do multiple positions, you just did one thing. There was different budgets during that time, and it allowed everybody to have one position. But as technology advances, as things change, as things grow, you start to see one person doing multiple positions because now they have the tools in front of them to do that. Some people try to niche down so early in their career that they pigeonhole themselves. I'm sitting in the lane of director and DP, and I have two different resumes. And so if someone hits me up and I think they're leaning towards hiring me as a DP, they get the DP resume and they get the DP answers. If someone's looking at me from the director standpoint, I give them the director answers. So you just got to find the adjacent positions that make sense. That flexibility is going to allow you to open up your opportunities to get more jobs. And so to me, it's a good thing. Now, when we think about flexibility, I know a lot of people are scared about what AI is doing. AI is very different from previous technology that was introduced. It's growing faster than anything else. Honestly, anytime there's a new technology that's going to revolutionize everything, everybody's scared of it. But there's one thing that I got to give, props to my dad about. He said, do not fight technology because you will always lose. And though you may be scared from what AI is going to be able to do, and it is going to replace a lot of jobs, it's better to find a way to implement it into your creative process than staying away from it altogether. It's better for you to figure out a way to make it work for you and for it to be your assistant than to be scared of it. For the longest time, where you lived really limited on how you could work on projects. But because of COVID, that's changed everything for a lot of us. So you lived in Chicago, New York, LA, Houston, New Orleans, I don't know, these large cities, you had more opportunities because a lot of the production companies are going to be based around larger cities. Now those things are changing where because of technology, because of how fast data can move and how we can connect with each other, you now don't have to be in the same place. And so that is good and bad. It's good from the aspect because now you can get jobs all over the place, all over the country, all over the world. It's bad because it opens up competition. So when we look at what's going on in 2026, you're gonna have more opportunities, you're gonna have more competition at the same time. But for those who know how to put their content out in a certain way, it's gonna be a big win for you. Working at a large name studio or production company no longer means that you have safety. If you look at what's going on in the industry, they are cutting jobs left and right, they are cutting channels left and right, and you don't want to think that you're safe just because you're working for a big company. To me, if I had to say what's best looking forward, is to have a mix of both. Working at a production company or a studio part-time and supplementing that with freelance work on the other side. That part-time might be able to just give you your base so that you can pay your mortgage, your rent, but the freelancing opportunity gives you more flexibility, when this isn't stable anymore, or when you want to be able to level up and grow. Because when you're working at a media company or production company, you're kind of fixed on the amount of money that you can make. The positive about being a freelancer is that the sky's the limit. You can work as many hours as you're able to, or 24 hours in a day. You can get as many jobs as your talent allows you to, and there's no ceiling. The filmmakers who thrive today aren't the ones holding on to how things used to be. They're the ones who adapt to what's next. Finding your lane. You can't chase every opportunity. You've got to know what kind of filmmaker you want to be. There's a difference between I'm doing this type of work because it pays my bills, and I'm doing this type of work because I have a passion for it. And that's totally fine. So for instance, we do a lot of work here at Digify, at my production company, and as an individual that does not get listed under the type of services that we provide on our website. The reason for that is we only put out work that we want people to know us for, but we still have bills to pay. And so it's important for us to still take on the work that pays the bills that may not directly align with what we want people to know us for. And then when we do get the job where, oh, this fits with the type of content that we put out, we put that out there. And that's the trick that I tell everybody. It's okay to take every type of job, just don't publish the ones that you don't want to be known for. Because the thing is, you're going to get hired for what people see that you create. So a lot of people will come up to me and say, I don't know what type of projects I want to work on. That's completely fine. If you're earlier in your career, or you're just starting, or you're remixing who you are, you need to try a little bit of everything. I personally found that I love documentaries. I love history. I did try many different things. I did weddings, I did videos, I did sports. I've done narrative projects. I've done commercials. I've done reality TV. I've done all these type of things, but there's nothing that really gets me excited like working on documentaries. But for me to figure that out, I had to try a bunch of different things. And so early in your career, it's important for you to take every type of job as possible. Don't worry about the money. The money's gonna come later, but start to figure out what gets you out of the bed where you're excited that you're working on that project that day. The other way to figure out the type of projects that excite you is to do your own personal projects. So the thing is, when someone hires you to do a job, realize that it will never completely be your own. It's gonna be a mix of your work with their work, especially if it's a work for hire. And so the only way to figure out what your style is, what you enjoy, is to do the projects that are personal to you, or the projects where you come up with your own budget for it, where you are figuring out the crew, the location, and doing all those things so you can completely say, this is what my type of work looks like. So once you discover your voice by doing your own type of projects, and doing a mix of content that's out there, that's when you can look at your career in the future and really start to hone in on what you want to work on. The beautiful thing about that is the clearer you are about your path, the faster you start to grow in that segment. I think the important thing to know when wrapping all this up is that clarity attracts opportunity. Building work that speaks for you. Your portfolio is your resume, but your taste is your reputation. I wish I realized this when I was trying to get more work as an independent freelancer. The quality of your work is much more important than the quantity. When I'm hiring people, one key thing that I do is I ask them for one piece of work that represents the type of job that we're looking to hire. One is to see if they're paying attention to my request, and two, it's to see if they can just provide one piece of work. When it comes to your portfolio, I'd say pick a few pieces of work that you've done to showcase what you can do. And that's why it's important to niche down on the type of work that you show, because now you can focus in on those type of things. Also, if you're applying for a job or someone's reaching out to you, have a demo reel for the type of work that represents what they want. So right now, I have a demo reel for documentary work. I have a demo reel for branded docs. I have a demo reel that shows my directing work and my editing. Depending on what they're looking for, that type of portfolio is gonna look very different. That demo reel is gonna look different. If you can make someone feel some type of way, even through graphics, that's gonna get someone more interested in hiring you. So yes, it's really cool for you to be able to do all the cool looking graphics, the transitions, the music cuts, and all those type of things. If you can find a way for your portfolio to have some type of emotional engagement with the person who's watching it, you're really gonna win. At the end of the day, when you're putting all your content together and you're looking to develop more work in 2026, make sure you show the kind of work that you want to be hired for and nothing else. Networking without networking. The best connections don't come from business cards, they come from collaboration. Once I jumped into my career, one of the things that scared me more than anything was networking. Generally because I don't like to talk to people, And one of the first networking experiences that I had really just hit me in the face. I learned quickly that my networking was going to look different. The best way to network to me is to get more jobs. Every network in every city has a freelancer network where you start to know the same people and then people start to know you. And to me, the best way to get more work is to get into that circle. So how do you do that? It's reaching out to other people who do the same work as you to understand them. Some of my best leads have come from other DPs and other directors. What ends up happening is when someone can't execute that job because they're busy, because at the end of the day, if you get hired for a day, you can't go do another job, they usually like to recommend someone else that they know. And if you can get into that circle, then you're gonna start getting way more work than expected. The other thing to keep in mind is that smaller projects do lead to larger projects. And that's because the amount of work and the effort that you put into a lot of small projects for us as filmmakers is not much different for a larger project. It's actually probably easier because you have more of a crew to support you depending on what you're doing. If you're getting paid for a job and it's not quite the right rate, you need to execute that job like it is the larger job, because there are people looking at you and there's going to be an opportunity that comes up and they're gonna say, hey, we worked together on this other smaller project, they'd be perfect for this. But if you slacked and you gave the job, under the rate effort that you were hired for, they're not gonna hit you up. A lot of people don't like doing this, but you have to be visible. I can't hire you if I don't know you. And that's one of the things that makes social media a good thing and a bad thing. Some people find a good way to do it that's healthy, and some people do it in a way that's annoying. But at the end of the day, if I go to your Instagram page or to your YouTube or anything that represents you online, I would love to see some type of process that shows that you're engaged in your profession. All in all, your network is going to grow at the speed of your reputation. Making money while you build. Passion keeps you inspired, but business keeps you alive. One thing that I learned early is work with the people who want to hire you. So I was always upset because the big agencies here in Chicago weren't hiring me for work. And I'm just like, man, we're doing great stuff. Why aren't they hitting me up? But I was always getting hit up by local, small brands, nonprofits, individuals. And thankfully, I quickly realized you need to go where you're wanted. Know that every project that you're getting and someone's paying you money for it, you need to treat it like it's paid film school. They're paying you to learn. As filmmakers, as creatives, we get taken advantage of all the time when it comes to money. People don't respect our work, they don't understand it a lot. But the quicker that you can realize that you're charging for experience and not hours, you're going to level up. So the important thing to know when building your career in this upcoming year is you need to focus on not undercutting yourself. We understand that a lot of people do not value creatives or charging for our prices, and there's always someone down the street who will do it cheaper. You need to value on the experience of working with you. So if you can focus on the value and experience that you provide more than the hours that you charge for, you're gonna have a better experience moving forward. Know that every client relationship is an audition for the next one. So if you have a good client experience, know that they have friends, they have family, they have coworkers who are going to yield more similar work. You never know who the client is that's going to lead to like 10 more jobs. And if I look at the people that we worked with in the past, I didn't know it at first, but sometimes that one person's the super connector, and then they get you much more work in the future because they're like, your experience with them was so good. And so that they want to connect you with their other friends. The other thing to keep in mind is you need to make sure that you're following up. People forget to follow up all the time, and people's lives are busy. They're not going to remember you. No matter how well of a job you've done, you need to follow up with people because that's how you keep them in your mind. When you look at how everything goes, you need to make sure that you're treating every project like it's your next opportunity, not just your next paycheck. You don't wait for a filmmaking career, you build one. You need to stop waiting for the perfect situation. Don't chase for permission, you need to chase progress. The filmmakers who make it the longest aren't the ones who have the best gear or the biggest budgets, they're the ones who keep creating when no one's watching. Consistency beats luck, execution beats talk every single time. If this episode gave you something useful, do me a favor and drop a comment below. Tell me what part of your career are you building right now? And if you're serious about growing as a filmmaker, I need you to subscribe because I'm going to be dropping a new episode every week where I'm giving all the insight that I've learned over the years. I'm Eric D. Seals. Keep telling stories that matter.
I'm Eric Seals. I'm the tape man. Cameraman!